Thanks for the patience. If you're on Zoom, Tanisha, can you hear me? Okay, yeah, thank you. We're waiting for IT in the space because the projectors are not working, and we have a lot of folks who are participating on Zoom. So we obviously want you to see and hear them. And our materials for the meeting are also going to be on the screen for folks in this space. So if you can just bear with us, they are on the way. And we'll get started shortly. Thank you. Good evening, everyone. How folks feeling? All right, I see thumbs up. I see I know it's a Tuesday, end of the month. I can't officially call the meeting to order yet because we are holding for quorum. And given the troubleshooting one, thank you for your patience. We're super behind schedule. We have a jam-packed agenda tonight. So I will just quickly kind of share how we're going to approach and then keep you updated. So we're actually going to shift tonight's agenda to our district manager's report first. Then we have a special presentation. Oh, actually, Sandra's here. I was looking for you. All right, we're going to swap that. There we go. We're going to kick off tonight's meeting with great. Actually, we're celebrating a lot tonight. So we're going to be celebrating on behalf of Columbia University and the Dyckman Scholars. For folks who are long-term members or have been on the board for a while, might be familiar. If you're not, I will of course let Sandra Harris introduce that, and then we'll dive into the district manager's report, chair report. For electeds, we're going to start with folks who are in the space. If you're on Zoom, our projector is still not working. We're holding out for IT because we obviously want people to see and hear the links and items for tonight. So I hope that works for everyone. If there are any challenges with time, especially if you're part of an elected, who'll be reporting back, please use the chat. Our first vice chair, Simari Hernandez, is monitoring it. And we do have quorum. The time is 6:52, so I'll officially call this meeting to order. So thank you. All right, so I am going to call up Sandra Harris, who is the VP of Governmental Affairs for Columbia University, who always lends out graciously the space for community board so that we have accessible sites for all of our meetings, which thank you so much. So I'm gonna have you come up and steal the show.
Thank you and good evening, everyone. I do apologize with the audiovisual. I'm trying to get IT and someone to come down and help us. So usually for those of you who are familiar with the Dyckman Institute Scholar, you have Ross coming before you to introduce this year's Scholar awardees. So he's traveling in Florida. He's in better weather, I'm sure. So it is my pleasure to be here tonight to introduce you to three of our new Dyckman Institute Scholar. I want to start by saying that this is one of the scholarships of the many scholarships that we have at Columbia, but this one is very special. And for me, it's because a lot of you, our community members, have taken the task of making sure to communicate this scholarship to our students, to our community. And I really, really will be remiss. And I'm going to start first by thanking those members. Bob Isaac, round of applause, because he really works very hard for this. Martin Collins, Albert Garcia, Siad Ramadan, Don Rice, Patricia Rojas, and of course, Steve Simon, who hasn't arrived, but good thing we have quorum tonight already. So I just want to say briefly, so the Dyckman Institute Scholar, and I'll just read very briefly and jump quickly to our wonderful students. The Dyckman Institute traces its history to the first school and later to the first public library in Washington Heights and Inwood. In 1818, the Hamilton Free School was incorporated to provide an education for, in other words, of Alexander Hamilton's widow, Eliza. And we know we're getting now a building named after the Eliza building that our wonderful organization Cloth is working on. So overall, this scholarship is one of the many scholarships that is available in our community to students who live in the Washington Heights and Inwood area, and one of the many scholarships that really makes college, university possible for many of our students. So I want to ask you to please give a warm welcome to this year's students, and I'm going to ask them to please join me here. Are we? We have Jenny, Omar, please come down, yes. And Shahid. And I think we also have a proud mom here with us. You could come down, Mom, and receive the applause as well. Yes. So again, we want to, thank you. If any of you wants to say a few words, I was just explaining to them, but that pre-COVID, we used to have these dates with cakes and really a nice celebration. So we truly apologize, but we are going to get back to celebrating. So hopefully next year we'll invite you all back and we'll have cake and a real party before our meeting. Yes.
What you study, how excited you are.
Hello, my name is Shahid Thabit. I'm a senior, first generation American, first generation college student. I'm very proud to be here. Thank you very much. In terms of what the scholarship means to me, I remember this very important day for me. It was December 21st, 2010. My mother took me on a little trip past 116 in Broadway. And she looked at this building and she pointed at me. She said, "This is going to be your school one day." And I said, "Is that any good?" And she laughed at me. She said, "This is where the best students in the world go to." And in essence, it gave me hope. It gave me a potential that I didn't see in myself that she gave to me. And I feel like this scholarship does that to the community. And I'm very, very proud for that. And I really appreciate how you guys give a portion of your lives to help the community that a lot of people don't realize. You give your young years and hours the same way my mother gave to me to build me up. So I'm very, very grateful for that. And to end on a little quote that I always like to say is when you look at a mirror, you always see yourself. But when you push that mirror beside, you look beyond that mirror, you see the millions of people that need your help. So I'm very grateful for the scholarship and thank you very much.
Hello, I'm Jenny Salcedo. I just wanted to take a second to say thank you all so much. I'm honored to be here. I'm a first year, so this is like a little nerve-wracking to be here, but thank you so much. And I'm really proud to be representing the Dominican Republic.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for taking the time. I'm Omar. Thank you for this honor. And I'm usually very shy about talking about my background, but I think in these settings, it's very important because my background is the background of several other students in New York and specifically Washington Heights. My family came here from the Dominican Republic in the 70s and 80s, and it's just me and my mother and my grandmother and my grandfather. And went to school in Inwood, went to school in Good Shepherd, if you know it. And, all throughout high school, I had this dream of being the first in my family to go to college, make my mother happy, make my grandfather proud, who passed away before I went into college. And now I'm in my last semester at Columbia, and it went by really fast, but I always think back to the community growing up in Inwood, my grandfather giving me $5 para un café con leche. And, this means so much to me and it means a lot to the community. So thank you all very much.
The good thing about this is I don't have to do much talking, but again, thank you so much. And for that committee who continuously goes out there and promote these scholarships. Now you see why it's so important. So thank you.
Thank you, guys. So when we get word about the next application cycle, which happens every single year, I'll get about that in a second. Please share that broadly. It's been really dope being, I've been on the board for I think 7 years now, and it's been really cool just to see the different cohorts of young people from this neighborhood who get such huge scholarships that makes a really big impact in their lives. Awesome, thank you again. So we're still troubles. Do you need me to reset? All right, sorry. We're gonna broadly interrupt real quick. I just gotta reset our mic, so I'm gonna go out for a second.
No, it's cool. I think I'm gonna just take this
Oh, there you go.
moment, just a
Gonna give my report. The first one, I'm very happy to report that a project that we started with the leadership of our chairperson when she started last year, it was to scan all the archive, the old files from the 80s, 90s, and the 2000s, and make it digitally. That task was completed at the middle of this month, 2 weeks ago. And we have the documents in our possession, and we're planning to upload it to our website. So you will be able to see those documents at your pleasure, at your leisure in the near future. We found there a lot of signing sheet, a lot of resolutions from the 80s and 90s, and very happy to do that and make it available for everyone. I need to report that the Department of Health and Mental Hygiene reported at the last district service cabinet meeting that the cases of chlamydia have been rising in the city of New York among young people. The Department of Health is recommending young people that may be suffering or getting this disease to go to the clinics available through the city of New York. I asked them to send us a flyer with information that those clinics are available, but you can look at it to the website of the Department of Health. I'm very happy to report that the Step Street on Pine Horse and 101st Street were repaired. You remember a few months ago, almost a year, I had been reporting and asking the Department of Transportation to fix this Step Street. Finally, they were repaired 2 weeks ago, and the Step Street, the step that was missing was repaired. Now I got another request from this group. What's going to happen with the garden? So we're going to be working now. It's a new request. You give something and it's good, you get another request. But I'm happy to do that because it's part of my job. I'm really enjoying doing that. And you remember the pathway to the little red lighthouse. You probably heard from me talking about this issue for the last 10 years, more or less. I have been working with the Parks Department, with DOT, Port Authority, and the reason is that this area is a great area where you have jurisdiction over, with several jurisdictions, and also great area that no agency want to claim as their own. So we're working on that, and last year, Parks Department made the path safe by removing some railing that was there in disrepair and sharp that was a danger for pedestrian and bicyclists and cyclists using the zigzag, and they remove it. Nevertheless, the columns that supporting some of the ramps going to the George Washington Bridge, they are in disrepair. According to the Port Authority, these columns belong to DOT. And according to DOT, they don't have records that those columns belongs to them. In the meantime, the columns are in disrepair, and I'm pushing and advocating to repair as soon as possible. In the last District 7 cabinet meeting, the representative from Parks, Ms. Lasorte, brought a suggestion that why we don't request federal funding to complete this repair. It sounds like a very good idea, and we're looking to push this idea, this request, to see if the federal government can grant some funds to repair not only the columns, but also the entire pathway, the entire zigzag. And we received a very sensitive complaint during the District Service Cabinet meeting. Is from resident of West 101st Street between St. Nicholas and Amsterdam. It looks like these residents are penalized by parking the car to help pedestrian to come into to upload and download pedestrian on that sidewalk. And the case specifically that we have is a lady that had her father living in that street, in that corridor, that every time she go over there to get her father to bring it to the doctor appointment, et cetera, she got a parking violation. And she has taken so many parking violations that she is fed up, and she said, hey, why we need to pay for that? And you may recall that that corridor has been converted on the busway a few years ago over the many complaints from the residents and merchants of that area. But this is a very sensitive situation that we have, and we try to find out if we have a solution. To go and live in China. So with that position, we got the approval. The job posting is available in our website. We have some hard copies here. Anyone interested in applying is welcome to do. This is the end of my report. Thank you very much. Is there any question? I don't see any question. Thank you. God bless you all.
Thank you. And again, we have both a full-time and a part-time position. Just go to the City Jobs website and you can find those. And then I think every Monday, the office sends out our newsletter, so you'll also find those links there. There's some flyers and flyers outside, so look at that. All right, we're actually, because we do have quorum, did not adopt tonight's agenda. I do have an amendment because we have minutes from our last general meeting. Yeah, so is there a motion to adopt tonight's agenda? I heard first by Isidro, seconded by Robin Cruz. Thank you. Is there anyone in objection? All right. Hearing none, February 2024's agenda is adopted. I guess I'll dive in. We're going to keep going without our projector tonight. For folks on Zoom, you get to dive into the visuals and see the visuals of tonight. So I wanted to keep the celebratory note going. A huge shout out to the folks at MRFU, Modes Cafe, and to all of our board members and folks of the public who came to our last Meet the Board event. It is our quarterly kind of meetup. We're outside, being able to take community boards outside, making sure folks are aware that we are visible, we exist, and an opportunity for interactions that within our structured meetings don't always allow for that. And so we got to learn about different issues, of course, and being able to drive the applicant pool for folks who want to learn more about the community board and perhaps serve on the community board. And so we had a really great time. The next one will be in May. So definitely, if you're not on our listserv, sign up so you'll be able to get the notice for the next one. So Maddie, you could hit the next slide. The other thing too, to celebrate, we had our, it feels like it happened so long ago, was our last Uptown tour at the United Palace. For folks who don't know, the community board is continuing our theme outside of our meetings by going to the cultural, we started with cultural institutions, I would say, to learn more about the work that they're doing, to visit them. So many of us who grew up here have never went inside the United Palace, let alone on the stage. Let alone in the different spaces that who knew they existed, including a manual elevator. Really fun. So we've gone to the United Palace, got to learn a lot also about the needs that a lot of our cultural institutions have in the district, right? Outside of, capital projects and improvements, accessibility, you name it. So when it comes to time for budget priorities during the year, and now that the council votes on budget, we're a lot more informed about that. So board members, please read the next board member newsletter to learn about the next site. I should also emphasize for the public, while we do kind of keep these more for board members to be in the know about these locations, the United Palace does offer monthly tours in English and Spanish. So if you are curious about the palace, want to learn more about the palace and its history in our district, definitely go to the United Palace's website where you can schedule a tour and be able to check it out. We had a lot of fun. I know that. All right. And then next slide, please. All right. And then the one thing that I did want to emphasize tonight is if you are on our listserv, I know our land use committee talks about it extensively, is our project with the Historic District Council for New York. And that's in driving more preservations, landmark projects in our district. For communities like the Heights, we tend to lose out in a lot of opportunities to save our culturally and historical significant spaces. And so we have a monthly drawing for a Visa gift card. So if you're on our listserv, every single week, you're gonna get links for English and Spanish where you're able to submit locations that you want to see preserved in the next 250 years in this district. So we've gotten tons of submissions from, Art Deco apartments up on Fort Washington. We got the Arch on 215th Street. We have historic district councils where folks want to say this whole region or set of blocks, it should be called this district. I personally want to see the Deportivo preserved and a plaque on there, right? So there's so many projects. There's no right or wrong submission. Just submit it. What do you want to see in 200 years? We want to hear that from you. And every single month, it's a drawing for a gift card. So you never know if you can get it. So that wraps up my report tonight. Thank you. Don't know if any questions for members, public. Cool. All right, and then we're gonna dive into our elected officials reports next. Like I shared, we're gonna start with folks in the room so folks on Zoom can see them too. And I don't got my list in front of me. You got them? All right, I'm gonna let Mari go ahead. You can shut them out.
Okay, you said we're doing in the room first?
Yeah.
So I'm gonna call Jamila Sandoval with Council Member De La Rosa's office. Yeah, if you could come to the podium so they can see you on the video.
Yeah, last time was a struggle. Okay,
You'll have
hi.
3 minutes, just in case.
Yes,
Okay.
I'll probably need less than that. Hi, I'm Jamila. I'm from Councilmember Carmen De La Rosa's office. I'm her Director of Community Affairs and also scheduler. Happy Dominican Independence Day. We haven't said it, but happy Dominican Independence Day. So just a little update what's been going on downtown and also up here. Earlier this month, the Councilmember De La Rosa became the Women's Caucus co-chair, which is very exciting. This is the biggest woman population that we have at the city council. So we're very happy that she's co-chair. And we're gonna have our first Women's History event as co-chair on March 19th at 6 p.m. at City Hall. If you don't follow her on social media, please do. We're definitely gonna be promoting that event. She continues being the Progressive Caucus co-vice chair. So that's a good thing as well. Discretionary funding has officially closed. But if you have any questions, please contact Kiana Diaz at d10budget@gmail. I'll make sure to put it in the chat so that everybody else can get it. Earlier this month, we had our first Uptown People's Assembly. And Kathy was able to be one of our panelists and you did amazing. We were very happy. We had 300 people on a Saturday morning until maybe like 2 or 3 o'clock. So it was very good to bring everybody into the community and discuss different topics in our community and how we want to improve it and create an action plan for the Carmen to bring to legislative office and obviously to our district. We had a hearing yesterday, the Civil Service and Labor hearing. If you don't know, the council member is the Civil Service and Labor Chair. We had a hearing to discuss the optimization of the civil service exam system and the municipal hiring. This Saturday, we're having a citizenship drive with CUNY Citizenship Now. That's the name of the organization. They come to our office twice a week. So if you ever know of someone who needs any type of immigration services, please send them our way. But we're doing that event with Councilmember Albero and Salam. And obviously Community Citizenship Now. And then we're gonna be hosting our first concession services night on March 21st. From 6 to 8, it's gonna be at the NACA Y. We're gonna focus on housing. So we're bringing HPD, we're bringing NYCHA to talk about different the Section 8 vouchers, issues within your apartment, if you have no heat and hot water, and things like that. So I'll definitely be sharing that, not only with the community board, but it will be on our social media platform. And that's it. That's it. Did I make it on time? Yay. Questions?
Yeah, you have 50 seconds. Any questions? I don't see any on the Zoom. Okay, thank you, Jamila. And I'll call next Porfirio Figueroa from our Manhattan Borough President's Office.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Porfirio Figueroa, and I'm the Community Coordinator for the Manhattan Borough President's Office. I also represent Community Boards 11 and 12. And I'm very proudly wearing my CB12 button Thank you so much. Just wanted to say that. So on that note, the community board applications deadline has been extended to March the 8th. So if you are a board member whose time is supposed to, reapply, please do so. Or if you want to have a voice on this community board, please apply at www.manhattanbp.nyc.gov. We continue to host free tax-free prep at our northern office located at 431 West 125th Street on Fridays from 9 to 5. And we will do that through April the 12th. An appointment is necessary at 212-531-1609. We held an information session on notice of property values last week where attendees learned about markets, assessed values, taxes, on how they're calculated, opportunities on how to save with property tax, exemptions, and abatements. The event was held at 1 Center Street. The Manhattan Board President also hosted an event for Black History Month last Tuesday at Aaron Davis Hall to honor the evolution of hip hop in Manhattan. And the event celebrated 50 years of hip hop with featuring WBLS and also Legends of the Apollo. Big news. The State of the Borough is this Sunday, okay? That is March the 3rd, 2 p.m. There are flyers outside. And I would urge you all to please reserve a seat. That's March 3rd at 2 o'clock at Hunter College K's Playhouse on 68th Street, East 68th Street. As always, I urge you all to go to our website at www.manhattanbp.nyc.gov. And there you will find news on updates, legislative initiatives, and all things Mark Levine and the borough. And you can also post your community events on our events page on the website. Thank you so much. That's it. That concludes my report. Any questions? I don't see any. Okay, great.
I don't see any questions on the Zoom for you. Perfect. Okay. Our next in-person, right, elected official speaker, I'll call Lori Tobias Cohen. I think you're making your way down already, so we're on point. This is from Congressman Espaillat's office.
Oh, good, growing audience. Good evening. I want to extend a heartfelt congratulations to the Dyckman Scholars. This is something that the congressman can, he resonates with this very deeply because it's his story, in a sense. He came from the Dominican Republic. For a time, the family was undocumented, went back, came back, and was told by the people who loved him that anything was possible. And he's the first Dominican American in the US House of Representatives. So he would like to let you know how deeply he appreciates all the hard work you've done and all the great things you're going to do for the community, for our society, for the world. I'm happy to announce that we are having our first annual Black History Month virtual event this Wednesday, tomorrow, 5 p.m., facebook.com/Representative Espaillat. Okay, the congressman's, and as you see from the flyer that I gave, hopefully almost all of you, and there are many more outside, we hosted an astounding what's called Dominicans on the Hill. This is an annual event that is an opportunity for the national Dominican community of leaders, entertainers, and so on, athletes and whatnot, to come together and share what kinds of contributions they're making to their communities and to society at large. And it was like astounding. Try to get there next year if you can. I'm sorry this doesn't have contact info, but you can always reach me through Ebenezer. We have 3 offices. two district offices that provide constituent services, one at 720 West 181st Street and the other at the Adam Clayton Powell State Office Building at Adam Clayton Powell Boulevard and West 125th, and of course, an office in DC. We do an enormous amount of work with immigrants, people who have just arrived, people who are desperately petitioning for family members to join them, waiting on appointments at embassies that were completely defunded by the previous administration. No, I'm not going to say anything further. Anyway, but the point is that it is a difficult situation. If you know anyone, and of course it's all fully bilingual, if you know anyone who needs that kind of assistance, we get sent constituents from their lawyers. The lawyers say, go to your congressman's office. So please know that this is something that the congressman is profoundly devoted to. And you can read about his initiatives on the back of this flyer. He is also leading an initiative to create law around combating hate crimes on college campuses, whether it's Islamophobia, anti-Semitism, anti-trans, so much negativity, so much hostility that needs to be addressed so that our college students can feel safe and do what they're there to do.
Thank you, Lori.
That's it? I can't talk anymore? No? Okay. Okay, thank you.
Give you a little bit extra time. I think you have one question. Lori, you have one question, I think, from a board member, sorry. Damn it. Sorry. No, because I'm just gonna have to repeat what you're saying for the Zoom. On record. Oh, is there a, okay. Okay, 1 second. Let me just say that on the Zoom.
Use our tax dollars in the funding channel. So it's a common because you believe that that's what this behavior.
Okay. So I think, yeah. So just to summarize, does the congressman,
I understood the question. I don't need to. Excuse me, sorry.
Hold on, let me just repeat, sorry, because the microphone died for accessibility for everyone, right? We want to make sure folks on Zoom are equal participants as people in person. So the question from a board member was, is the congressman proud in terms of funding the genocide that is happening in Palestine while taxpayer dollars are being lost here or shifting taxpayer dollars? So 2 minutes to respond. There we go.
First of all, I completely, as with the congressman, take issue with the characterization of Israel's incursion into Gaza as genocide. It's irrational on its face. It's irrational because the people of Gaza are the same ethnicity as the Israeli Arab citizens of the state of Israel, as well as the members, the residents of the West Bank. This is not genocide. This is war. It is not a war that Israel wanted. It is a war that was thrust upon them by the terrorists. And I think that if you have something you want to say and get an answer from the representative, you are welcome to phone, you are welcome to send a letter. I am not in a position to represent his point of view, okay? But understand that his point of view holds no pleasure for the death of any of the innocents that have fallen as a result of Hamas's terroristic actions.
Thank you, Lori.
thank you, Lori.
Oh, both of them? Wow, look at that day, the day in Colombia. All right, we're gonna go to our Zoom participants from electeds. Sorry, Jocelyn, come on down. We have Jocelyn Minaya from the District Attorney's Office. If you did not know, we have a District Attorney's Office in this neighborhood, so no need to go downtown. And then we're gonna go straight on to folks on Zoom. Thank you.
I hope everyone knows we have a district attorney's office in Washington Heights. Otherwise, I've not been doing my job correctly. Good evening, everyone. Like Madam Chair said, my name is Jocelyn Minaya, and I have the honor and the privilege of serving this community as the Director of the District Attorney's Washington Heights office. I bring you all greetings from the from your honorable DA, Alvin Bragg, and also want to echo in my colleagues' celebration of Dominican Independence Day. So thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to speak. I wanted to come in person. I haven't been in person to one of these meetings in forever, and I apologize for that. But always on Zoom, and so is my community engagement coordinator, Fernanda. She's on the Zoom tonight. I just wanted to thank the community board for helping us to spread the word on the programs that we have for our youth during this summer. And I wanted to add one more to our repertoire. So last month we spoke about our high school internship program, which we've done for many, many years. We're very proud of it. We're proud to have assistant district attorneys working in the office today that actually were high school interns once upon a time. So we'd like to think that we're creating, the future of prosecution in terms of making sure that our community youth are engaged and know what it means to be a prosecutor or to be in law enforcement, and getting as much of them to join us this summer, and hopefully plan to make a career out of it. So once again, I want to thank the community board and the community at large for helping us get the word out on that, and also our gun violence prevention fellowship, which goes on during the summer. The new program that we added is a youth ambassador program, and Washington Heights and Inwood is one of the target communities. We are looking for 2 students from Washington Heights and Inwood that would like to join us and become a youth ambassador. And the ages are 16 to 19, similar to the gun violence prevention fellow. And the only caveat is that they reside, attend school, or work in Manhattan, either one of those 3. And then the flyer also has the rest of the requirements to join us during the summer. So I hope that you also help us spread this word. I want to see 2 wonderful kids, youth from this community. And I also want to extend my congratulations to the recipients of the scholarship. Oftentimes, especially in my line of work, I hear a lot about, the negative things that youth do. It's the nature of the game in terms of where I work, but we so rarely hear about the wonderful youth that we have in this community, and any opportunity that I get to elevate all the wonderful things that are done by our young people in this community, I'm all for it. So I want to congratulate the scholars again, and I hope that you will help me spread the word and get a few of our wonderful kids to join us as youth ambassadors. Thank you.
Thank you, Jocelyn. And by the way, the office, the DA's office is on the same floor as the board office, so no need to get lost. We're gonna go to our elected reps on Zoom who have been waiting patiently. We're gonna start with Noah Coy.
Good evening, everyone. I hope everyone is doing
Wow,
well.
that is super low. 1 second.
Okay, no worries.
Can you speak again, Noah?
Yeah, is the volume better now? Do you guys hear me? Hello?
Can you hear him?
I heard him very
Can you-
low.
Can you guys hear me now?
Let me see something. Hold on. All right, no, can you say something to see if I can
Yeah.
hear you?
Yeah, can you guys hear me?
Yeah, no, we can't hear you at all.
We can hear you.
That is okay.
For everything loud. No, everything is loud.
Hold on. Can you try
How
that
about
again?
now?
No.
Nope.
Okay, and you can hear him on Zoom.
Actually, we can hear on Zoom.
Give me a second. I apologize. Give me 1 minute.
No worries, take your time.
Oh, okay.
Um, Yeah. I don't know what to do. Let me see. Jonathan, Prometa, sorry. Yeah, no, I'm putting you on the spot. Jonathan, can you say something real quick? I just want to make sure.
Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah,
Actually,
nothing.
like I said before, I can hear Noah.
Yeah, and I can hear Jonathan right now.
Yeah, we can hear it from
Yeah.
some. I don't know in the room, but out here we can hear perfectly.
Yeah, I'm trying to see. Let me see if we can keep it local. All right, thanks, Edgar, and folks for supporting. Noah, can you go again?
Yeah, can you guys hear me now?
All right, I got you on the desktop, which is low. Let me try another option.
Okay, no problem.
No, not the crescent. All right, can you say test?
Success.
Oh, there we go.
All right.
Yes, all right.
All right, awesome,
Go ahead.
awesome. All right. Good evening, everyone. Hope all of
We
you
could hear you. We
are-
can't see you, unfortunately, but it is on the recording if you want to match people's voices and faces.
Okay. So good evening, everyone. Hope you guys are all doing well. So just a couple of things to go over. So I know it was very warm outside today, and it probably will be warm outside tomorrow, but it's still the winter season, and our office to help constituents and their families with any emergencies that may come their way during the winter season. We've created a series of blog posts to help prepare for a range of disasters, including winter safety essentials and winterization tips, as well as preventative measures designed to protect against damage caused by freezing temperatures. And you can find the series of blog posts on our office's website, which is www.advocate.nyc.gov/blog. And just to piggyback off of that real quick, just a quick reminder about heat season. So heat season runs from October 1st through May 31st. And during heat season, indoor temperatures must be at least 68 degrees during the day when the temperature outside is 55 degrees or below, and it has to be 62 degrees at night. So just a quick legislative update as well. So the How Many Stops Act, as well as the solitary confinement ban, those are two of the 11 bills our office passed in 2023. Those two passed in December, and they have now become law. And these bills will help protect and promote public safety and transparency. And we thank New Yorkers for their engagement on these issues. And you can find more on the policing transparency bill by visiting our website, again, advocate.nyc.gov. And then for upcoming events, you can find upcoming events our office may be hosting or participating in by following our Eventbrite page, and you can find that on our office's website as well. And you can also visit our office's website to sign up for our text chat bot service. We have like a text chat bot that you can sign up for. We have a bi-monthly newsletter that you can register for, and you can also find links to our different social media channels, which are on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter /X, whatever people are calling it these days, Threads, and LinkedIn. And then a couple more things. The Public Advocate has a monthly news segment on News 12 called Ask the Advocate, and that airs live every third Monday of the month from 7 to 7:30 p.m. And he is also on Caribbean Power Gem Radio every month. He participates in a long-form interview that covers a multitude of issues across the city. And that episode this month was February 16th at 10 a.m., so it passed already. But he does go on a monthly basis on Caribbean Power Gem Radio. And yeah, that wraps it up for me. I hope you guys could all hear me okay in the building.
Yeah, thank you, Noah. And again, Noah's with the Public Advocate's Office. You do have a question from Steve, a board member.
Yes.
Can you give me 1 second, Steve?
I'll repeat it.
At the Allen Hospital.
Noah, the question from Steve was, does the Public Advocate support tonight's resolution related to the midwives at Allen Pavilion, from your Presbyterian's Allen Pavilion? Opposing the elimination of the midwifery program, excuse me.
Yeah, no, so that's a good question. So I do know following the community board meeting last month that Ms. Liz Ritter reached out to me personally regarding the issue with the midwives at Allen Pavilion Hospital. And our office is actively engaged on that issue. I know that one of the departments within our office, I believe, it is like the department of our office that handles public health issues that they've been engaged on it. And yeah, so we are aware of that issue, and we are, working with the local community to provide assistance in any way we can.
Thank you, Noah.
Does that mean that you support the resolution?
I cannot answer that on behalf of the public advocate himself, but I defer to the answer I just provided.
All right, thank you, Noah. We got the gist. All right, and again, thanks for your patience on tonight's issues with sound. We're gonna go on ahead to Diana Pichardo from Assembly Member Manny de los Santos' office.
Good evening. I'm sorry, I have some background noise. I have quite a very loud toddler in the back. So I just wanted to announce that we had a very successful weekend. We celebrated Black History Month. Amazing turnout. I had amazing honorees, and we also celebrated this past weekend the Dominican Independence Day. When it comes to legislation, we are championing language access, and there has been great turnout. And Retail Workers Protection Act in Albany, helping out our partners that are support and making sure that there's access to mental health, like NAMI, and other organizations like BioBus that are very active in the community. And for upcoming events, please add us on our Instagram and any other platform that you may use. We are there. We are promoting our events, but we are having a citizenship event April 6th. So we will be sharing that with the board and making sure that everyone is helping us with some outreach as this is essential and vital for the community.
Okay, excellent. Thank you, Diana. Don't see any hands in person or on Zoom from board members. So if that works for you, we'll go on ahead to our next and final elected speaker, which is Edgar Tavares from State Senator Robert Jackson's office.
Hey, how's everybody doing? The senator has been up to a lot of work, being that we're back in session. Recently, he hosted a workshop called Every Student Deserves a Small Classes, having to do with outlining the roadmap to comply with the law for class sizes. Brought out a lot of education advocates, parents, students, and school administrators all united into advocating for smaller class sizes and the benefits to our education system when class sizes are smaller. Also participated on the road to reparations as a panelist discussing the legacy of slavery in the state of New York and in the city of New York, and highlighted how reparations can be more than just merely financial transactions, but also symbolize a commitment to equality, justice, and the collective pursuit of a more equitable future. Another hearing that was discussed that he participated in was the housing budget hearing. He spent a lot of time reiterating his commitment to serving constituents and enacting legislation, especially having to do with strengthening the safeguards that tenants want, such as good cause eviction. And we know that there's a lot, not just dealing with good cause eviction, but the housing crisis, not just in the entire state of New York, but also the city of New York. There's also joining families and advocates in support of the Working Families Tax Credit. It helps with balancing budgets, helping with inflation, families needing help with childcare and things of that nature as well. Another bill that he's focusing on supporting is the One Fair Wage Act, which is helping industry, restaurant workers, also creating a restaurant worker recovery loan program having to do with funds that were lost or wages that were stolen, things of that nature. Another thing is the monthly Met Council housing clinics, housing tenants' rights clinics that we do twice a month. There's one that just happened just today, earlier today. The next two will be on March 11th and on March 25th. There are members, advocates and organizers, but also legal representatives who also give a lot of legal advice at these tenants' rights clinics. And then also, final thing, SYEP applications are available. You know, they are taking applications until March 1st. And that'll be it for now. And have a good night.
Right on time. Thank you so much, Edgar. All right, we're going to, yes, Steve.
Since the resolution I referred to earlier indicates that Senator Jackson is opposed to the elimination of the nurse midwives, does the senator support the passage of this resolution at our meeting tonight?
Did you catch that, Edgar?
No. It sounded very echoey.
Okay, Steve is asking, same question from Noah. Does the senator support the passage of tonight's resolution in opposition to the midwives position being eliminated? Since I think his public position is that?
I am aware that Senator Jackson is not in support with getting rid of the midwives from the hospital. That is a public statement that he made, I believe, over a month ago. And yeah, he's totally in support of the midwives being there and actually having even more midwives, actually. So we could say that for sure.
Okay, excellent. Thank you. All right, we're going to move to the public session. All right, we're gonna keep it going with Zoom if that's okay. We got 2 names on Zoom. And then we're gonna go to folks in person who have been waiting for our public session. Again, either C. Maria or myself will tap for time. So we're gonna kick it off with Vanessa Rodriguez, who's the head of community engagement and government affairs for New York Roadrunners.
Good evening. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for allowing me to be a part of your community board meeting. Happy Independence Day to all the Dominicans, and also happy Black History Month, and congratulations to the scholars. I see myself in you, as I am the first generation born in the States and also first generation to go to college. Today, I just wanted to bring some information that I've sent out last week regarding the Washington Heights Salsa, Blues, and Shamrocks 5K. It's taking place on Sunday, March 3rd at 9 a.m. It begins on Fort Washington, West 172nd to 173rd, and the finish line is on Fort Washington Avenue on West 173rd. I have passed along not only to the community boards, but to local businesses, apartment buildings, our road closures, our no parking areas, and overview of the actual event that's taking place this Sunday. I have also messaged our directional apps, which is Waze and Google Maps. So anyone coming into the community and experiencing not being able to get to their destination, they will be rerouted. We will have also a kids run. It's in the same route. We have 3 stages. One stage is for 2-year-olds to 11, 8-year-olds to 18 is the second stage, and the third stage is from age 12 to 18. Those start at 8 and end at 10:15 a.m. We plan on ending at around 2 p.m. And that is all for me. If you need any more information or you want to discuss, my email is vrpayne@nyrr.org. And I'll put that in the chat as well. You can contact me if you have any questions again. And thank you again.
Thank you so much, Vanessa. Tracy, is it a clarifying question? Okay, because for public session, we do clarifying questions. But okay, all right, you could email her too. I'm gonna definitely reach out about it.
And also, I'm sorry, I forgot to mention, if we do have other races coming, not into the specific area, but we definitely want to be in person and discuss all the free programming that we have for kids, for older adults at another meeting. So I definitely want to come in person and definitely provide that information. A lot of times we think that the New York Roadrunners only puts on the New York City Marathon, but we put on races all over the boroughs. So I definitely want to at some point be in person and have that conversation.
Okay, thank you, Vanessa. All right, next up, we have Ariel Sala Holbrook Smith from the CUNY School of Public Health.
Hi, everyone. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, hello. My name is Ariel Sala Holbrook Smith, and I am the Health Equity and Literacy Program Officer of the CUNY Graduate School of Public Health and Health Policy, which is New York City's only public school of public health. I work under the community engagement arm of CUNY SPH, and our goal is to really improve the health and well-being of the Upper Manhattan community through supporting existing community-based organizations, which includes our community boards, communities, task forces. And so we have been in conversation with CB12's Cannabis Task Force around surveying community perceptions and mapping out our community resources and priority locations. So we walk the community to identify those priority locations and resources, including schools, affordable housing, house of worship, and so on, to see the overlays and intersections of our community resources. And I just wanted to share project updates to continue our conversation on partnership. So timeline-wise, the Community Perception Survey is ready to share with folks and comes in English and Spanish. So we'd love to work with the community board to share that out to community. And with regard to the mapping, we'd love to work with you to coordinate efforts to recruit volunteers to Canvas when it does get warmer outside. So hopefully in April, May, and whether that's folks from our community, folks from the community board, et cetera, to walk the community in pairs or small groups. We have outreach materials ready to go for that as well. And again, we'd love to work together with you in that recruitment effort. And then lastly, I'd like to also invite folks to our upcoming webinar this Thursday, February 29th at 12 p.m., which is the final installment in our three-part webinar series around the impact of cannabis legislation in our communities. And for this final part, we'll be joined by the Office of Cannabis Management and Cannabis Workforce Initiative to discuss social and economic equity in cannabis legislation, as well as ancillary workforce development opportunities. So I'll put that information in the chat for folks. I also have a flyer available as well. I can't really share my screen, but I can share that to you as well to distribute.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, thank you. Feel free to, we'll put in the chat the board, official board email. If folks do have flyers that you want us to share out, send them every single Wednesday, and by every Monday of the next week, we send those out. So I'll put that in the chat.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks. We're going to move to our in-person voices, and we're going to start with Carl Cutting from 151 Dykeman, followed by Daniela, and then Milka, just so y'all have a heads up. So if Carl could come on down.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Carl Cutting. I'm a business owner, Patipalo Bar and Grill on Dykeman Street. And I'm here today to speak in favor of a fellow business owner and friend of mine, Valimar Bautista. Mr. Bautista is, if you look on your program, is located under F at 115 Dykeman Street. I've known Mr. Bautista has put in a lot of hard work, sweat, and tears to get where he's going now. And this is a $6 billion industry, and I think he deserves to be a part of this. And I look forward to being a fellow business owner with him. I know the product that he brings is going to create a lot more jobs to our community. I know the product he brings is going to be lab tested and safe for people to purchase. I know that he's paid his dues, and I think it's going to be a safer place for people to go and purchase their products. I hope that the community board will take all these things in consideration and give a quick approval to Mr. Bautista. Thank you for listening to me and good night.
Okay, thank you for that comment. And we'll go to our next in-person public session speaker. I think it's Daniela or Danielsa Peralta. Sorry if I messed up your name. Okay, Damelsa, oh, perdón. Okay, from the Legal Aid Society.
Good evening, Community Board 12. My name is Damelsa Peralta. I am the paralegal case handler of the Legal Aid Society Community Development Project Unit. We are located in 125th Street in Harlem. As you all may know, the Legal Aid Society offers a range of services to New Yorkers. Those services are criminal defense practice, juvenile rights practice, civil practice. Within the civil practice, we offer immigration law, health law, benefit law, family, HIV and AIDS representation, consumer, bankruptcy, and community development, housing, and many more. Tonight, I'm here to highlight the Community Development Project Unit and the services that we provide. We provide services for small businesses, nonprofit organizations, and HDFC co-ops. Our range of clients are street vendors, caterers, salons, art organizations, after school and childcare programs, community entities, representation, and many more. First, we guide our small business clients with selecting their business structure, and we assist with contracts, commercial leasing, intellectual property, financing, tax compliance, and many more. Second, we represent nonprofit organizations with incorporation, tax exemption. We also intellectual property, finances, employment matters, real estate matters, and corporate governance. Third, we assist HFC co-ops with and tenant associations with guidance, corporate guidance, and also foreclosure tax risk guidance. Yeah. Oh, so
I'd like to give your email, put it in the chat.
yes. So I did leave some flyers in the front, and also I'll be staying for the remainder of the meeting to provide my business card and any other questions that you guys may have. Thank you.
Thank you, and we'll. What? Oh, yes, he's gonna invite you to the next business development meeting. Okay, cool. I'm deaf. Okay, so we're moving on to our final public speaker here, Milka Rodriguez with Youth Travel Program information.
Good evening, everyone. So my name is Milka Rodriguez, and I'm here to discuss my social venture. It's called Globetrotting Dominicana. Pretty much what it is, it's an impact tourism company that provides eco tours and decolonized climate education and leadership training in the Dominican Republic. We're launching our program this summer for youth 18 to 30 years old, and we're offering limited scholarships to socially and economically disadvantaged youth who can demonstrate a really strong commitment to community economic development and also climate and sustainability projects. So this is going to be 8 days, 7 nights in the northern coast of Dominican Republic, starting in Santiago and ending in Santo Domingo. And they'll be exposed to a variety of different subject matter experts in ecotourism, coral restoration, urban sustainability, so many, recycling and horticulture, amongst others. And if you know any young folk 18 to 30 years old, or if you're an educator or work for a nonprofit that has a youth program, and we can present at any events and just get the word out there about the program, feel free to reach out to me. I have some flyers here if anybody wants more information about it. So you guys up there. But that's pretty much it. Thank you so much.
That's all right, so folks are going to be around. Is it, so we do clarifying to me for public session? So I'm gonna ask y'all to just offline connect. We got a lot of popular candidates here, so make sure y'all move around and don't leave. All right, we're gonna dive into tonight's resolutions before us for a vote. We have 27 items, and I know that the tech issues affected our timing tonight. So I'm going to try to give as much space for discussion as well as keep us moving ahead. I'm gonna call on down Wayne, who will be discussing tonight's resolution related to the BSA on 2420. Okay, we're gonna screen share for folks on Zoom, but go on down.
Thank you. Actually, there are two resolutions. The executive committee resolution originally came out of the land use committee. However, it cut across the jurisdiction of 3 committees. And so after the land use committee passed its resolution, it received feedback from youth and education that sort of changed the direction of it. And so if we're going to accept friendly amendments, that's something the committee could do. But if we're changing the direction, we have to refer it to the executive committee so the executive committee could meet and discuss and pass that. Because once our meeting is over, we can't have a meeting via email to change it. So the Youth and Education Committee met after land use. Traffic and Transportation is the other committee that had input, but it met before land use. It was able to give us its input, and actually a member of the Traffic and Transportation is also a member of land use. So we got it twice. So literally a year ago, Community Board 12 passed a resolution supporting a Board of Standards and Appeals application for a special permit to allow a high school to occupy what is office space in the radio tower on 181st Street and Amsterdam Avenue. That deal fell apart, and towards the end of the year, we received another application for the same building, same location, but this time the tenant would be an elementary school. Elementary school population is very different than high school. So land use wanted to make sure that although this application is a zoning and planning action, we wanted the Traffic and Transportation to chime in if there are any particular issues given the youth age, and also we wanted Youth and Education to chime in, which is why we said we had the 3 things. Traffic and Transportation's review had no issues of concern with the application. Land use had no concerns with the zoning and planning aspects of the application, and that is the resolution that we passed. Subsequent to our meeting, Youth and Education met. They had a detailed conversation. I actually sat in that for a couple of hours. And ultimately, Youth and Education was concerned with the concentration of elementary schools in that area. I think within a 3-block radius, there are already 4 elementary schools. And also, as I said, unlike high school students, that's a very busy location for elementary school students. So what was originally a land use resolution supporting the Board of Standards and Appeals, approving the special permit, this is now an executive committee resolution opposing it. And it's actually speaking to the 3 parties that are involved in that. It's first of all saying to the Board of Standards and Appeals that we're opposing the special permit that's requested. We're also, and this is coming out of dialogue with Youth and Education, saying to the
American Dream School, which is the sponsor of that elementary school charter school, that we're recommending they find another location in the community that doesn't have the same concentration of schools that could better serve community where there's a need for a school where we don't currently have that located. And we're also saying to the owner of the property, which is Young Woo, the building has been completed for about 18 months. They've successfully started the operation of the hotel and the retail space. The office space, which I think is 120, 130,000 square feet, is not moving well. And as you know, throughout the city of New York, office rentals are down, and the offices that are renting are luxury office buildings that have lots of amenities. So we are suggesting to them, we are not demanding, we're suggesting to them that they consider what the mayor and the governor are asking others to do, is maybe to convert some of that office space to residential. And I forgot to mention that the reason a special permit is required is because of the zoning of the site. The site is like 83% C83, which is an old zoning classification that's really automobile related, and it doesn't allow certain community facility uses like schools and libraries and nursing homes and dorms. So in order for any type of school, whether it's a charter school or public school, to locate on a site like that, the Board of Standards and Appeals would have to issue a special permit, which is why there's that application. The second resolution, completely unrelated to this, is for an alteration agreement at 429 West 162nd Street, which is in the Jamel Terrace Historic District. And any building that is either individually landmarked or is in a historic district, when an alteration is proposed, the Landmarks Preservation Commission has to review and approve it. So this is basically a brownstone. It has been vacant for about 10 years. The owners propose to renovate it into 2 units. There'll be the garden level floor through 2-bedroom, and the upper 3 floors will be an owner's triplex, which they will then occupy. There are no changes to the architecture of the street facade. The street facade is being restored. The original doors are being restored. There will be new replacement windows, but they will be consistent with the original. In the back of the building, if you know the layout of a brownstone, there's a 1-story addition. On the second floor, they're going to extend it so that there will be an addition that's half that depth as well. You can't see the rear facade, but Landmarks looks at the entire design, and they will determine if there's anything that they want to change, or if they simply want to approve it. So the committee saw nothing to object to. There is a new bulkhead that's going up to the roof. If you know the layout of brownstones, when you go to the roof, typically there is a ladder that goes up to a hatch. And I guess the owners want to be able to use the roof, so they're putting in a real stair. So the stair will be enclosed and it has a bulkhead. You can see part of the bulkhead from the street, not from 162nd Street. But if you know the topography of the area, as you go towards Sylvan Terrace, it slopes uphill. So if you are on, Jamel Terrace and Sylvan at that intersection, you can see a part of the bulkhead. I will point out that when I took photos of it, if you're standing on either sidewalk, the trees block the view of the bulkhead. If you're standing in the middle of the street, which I was, you can see it. But once again, the Land Use Committee and the board members and members of the public unanimously supported that application. Is there any question about either the Executive Committee resolution, which is the Board of Standards and Appeal, or the Land Use Committee, which is 429 West 162nd? Domingo. No, the Land Use Committee resolution originally is no longer there. It's been taken over by the Executive Committee. No. No problem.
Then Steve.
Steve?
I just want to clarify that with respect to the executive resolution, what we're asking you guys to consider is converting some or all of the office space to residential use.
That's what it says.
Your presentation.
In my verbal presentation, yes, but in the resolution, which everyone has to vote on, it says, some or all. Right. And but I also want to point out, because we had some discussion about this at the executive committee meeting, any resolution from a community board as a recommendation, we cannot make folks do this. So we're not telling the landlord that we demand that you convert the space. But we're saying as a business decision, you haven't been able to rent it for 18 months. The mayor and the governor are telling commercial property owners throughout the city of New York to consider conversion. So why not have that conversation in Washington Heights and Inwood?
Last question.
Where?
Hold on.
Richard?
Wayne, in speaking about that proposed school location, which is on 181st Street, the block between Amsterdam and Audubon, you spoke about a concentration of schools in the area. Could you detail that a little further?
I would allow Domingo to speak to the specific
Come
schools.
down, thank you.
All right, so a block away in 182nd and Wadsworth, we have a Wheels, which is a K through 12 school. A block up, we have PS 132, which is a K through 5 school, which is also co-located with Dos Puentes, which is a K through 5 school as well. And right down the block from there, so we're looking at a 4-block, like a L. We have the Equity Project School, which is a K through 5, a charter school amongst the public schools I mentioned. And the way it works is they'll start with K, and as their graduate classes increase, they'll also add an additional grade, but also start recruiting for the previous grade that the class has graduated.
Thanks. My reason for asking this question, this same issue comes up in resolution E, where a cannabis dispensary is proposed.
In resolution E, where a cannabis dispensary is proposed, it actually is in the area of a number of schools in that area. And the Esperanza Center, which serves children with disabilities, is located immediately next door.
Yeah, well, it's a great,
No, I'm saying, and when when that resolution
get
is being
there.
presented, I would suggest you bring it up again.
I certainly will do.
Thank you.
Is there anything
Richard.
online? I don't see anything.
No.
We're good?
We're good.
Thank you.
We checked, thank you. All right, I'm gonna just play with our cameras because we're gonna flip to our next speaker. All right, ooh, we got a bird's eye view. All right, our next speaker for resolution is Mary Anderson with our concerns of the aging. For folks who don't have an agenda tonight, it is a resolution supporting parole eligibility for certain incarcerated persons.
Thank you, Catherine. We've included in the items sent out to all of the board members, the minutes again from January, because we had an extensive discussion at that meeting about this resolution. Basically, this resolution has to do with adults age 55 and over who have served at least 15 years of a long sentence, the ability to apply for parole. An automatic ability to apply for parole doesn't mean they're going to get it, but they can apply for it. And there are a lot of things that point to the fact that keeping older people incarcerated does not help anybody. These people there's less recidivism among this age group, and for even serious crimes. Obviously, the parole board would retain its discretion to set conditions of release, Also, several members of, several politicians have been co-sponsors of these two bills. It's State Senate Bill S 2423 and Assembly Companion Bill A 2035. All co-sponsored by Robert Jackson, Cordell Cleary, Manny De Los Santos, and Al Taylor. Also, Carmen De La Rosa, when she was in the Assembly, was a sponsor of this bill. So we want to be able to pass this reso so that people have rights and don't die in prison, basically.
Thank you, Mary. You have a hand from Domingo. And Steve and one on Zoom. Tanisha.
Great job, Mary, in actually in taking up a position in what some may consider a controversial bill. But everybody deserves the right to redemption. Who I was yesterday, I might not be today, regardless of the mistakes that were made in the past. So while certain individuals may have been put in a position that might have hurt or impacted society positively or negatively, we're not nobody to judge somebody's decision. We don't understand what people are going through that puts them in such predicaments. But one thing we can do as a society is understand that an eye for an eye an eye for an eye drives the whole world blind. And I encourage everybody to understand that this just goes beyond a good intention bill, but can actually put good people that made bad decisions in a life to actually get connected back with their families, which they've been deprived by a criminal justice system that we understand. And there's data that proves has been historically racist and targets a certain group of people. So I encourage everybody to vote for this bill, for this resolution, because we need to support more bills that not only support punitive measures, but actually engages people in changing their lives.
Thank you, Domingo. I just wanted to say, I forgot to say that this forgot to say that these bills are actually presented by a lady by the name of Laura Whitehorn. And she is a co-founder of an organization called RAP, and that's Release Aging People in Prison.
All right, Steve, and then.
Well, listen, I also believe in redemption and the need to let people return to their lives and come back to the community. But I think I draw the line at people who may have been convicted of murder. Does this bill affect allow people convicted of murder to seek parole before their sentences are over?
Well, they can apply.
Yeah,
Doesn't mean they're going to get it,
I understand that.
but this is to give them the right to apply.
I understand that. So, well, if you've been convicted of murder,
Yeah, back
Yeah.
to guys' time.
okay, and the only
Remembering that prison is not just for punishment, it's also hopefully for
well, there's also a social
Rehab.
good. But also I want to mention that Cordell Clear, very good state senator, friend of mine, the lines were redrawn. She no longer represents our district. The lines stopped at 155th Street.
That's an amendment
Yes.
that you're
it's a
proposing?
friendly.
That's a friendly amendment to strike her name. Do you accept that, Mary? So he has a friendly amendment to strike Cordell Clear because she doesn't represent the district anymore.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, we're gonna go to Tanisha. I see Jay, and then we're gonna go to the next reso.
Yes, thank you so much, Chair. I would also like to commend the Aging Committee for this bill. I would suggest that Richard does some research on maybe the Innocent Project. We have a lot of people that are in jail for murder and actually didn't do it. That's the thing. So we just want to make sure that everyone has a fair shake. And as Domingo said before me, we know disproportionately that who incarceration affects and why, and that often the sentences are way harsher. I believe this is also the 30th anniversary of the original crime bill that Joe Biden, your president, put into effect. So I would say that this is a sweet moment and I really appreciate it. And I look forward to passing more resolutions like this. It will definitely be a yes for me. Thank you.
Mhm. All right, and to wrap us up, Jay.
Yeah, just to Steve's comment, you know, I understand your concern, but I would say that kind of what Tanisha was saying, right? This bill would just allow folks who have been put in prison for life without parole or situations like that that are over 55 years of age to apply to be released. It's not an automatic release. A lot of the things that the parole board have to consider is what you've done while you were in prison. And I have visited prisons where, like Sing Sing, where that's where most murderers are sent. And these are probably the most smartest and most reformed folks I've ever met in my entire life, who want to do good work after they get out. And I would just say, do not make a decision just based on one fact and listen and meet folks who have been in prison and reformed themselves, because the whole point is that the correction system, it's called corrections for a reason. You do your time and you serve your time, and then you should be able to live back in society.
All right, thanks, Jay. That wraps up for any questions. So I think we're good on aging. If we can move forward, we're gonna go next to Steve. Come on back down. On the result we've heard so much about. Thank you. Steve, he could ask from the floor when it comes to time. That was a lot of time here. It should be fine.
All right, so you may have heard that we have a resolution tonight dealing with opposition to the elimination of the nurse midwives positions at New York Presbyterian's Allen Hospital. And really, I thought I was doing the representatives from the Public Advocate's Office and the State Senator's Office a favor by letting them say that they support the resolution, because the resolution refers to the fact that their principals are opposed to this plan by the hospital. It also refers to the fact that New York State Attorney General Letitia James is opposed to it, as well as Councilmember De La Rosa. They've all publicly said they're opposed to it. I assume they all would support this resolution. So this is particularly troubling, I believe, because it compounds I think the problems we've had lately with the hospital, with the closing of the 30-bed psych unit at the Allen Hospital, and now this decision to eliminate the nurse midwives. And we're talking about people who have been working for the hospital for as long as 37 years. And then you suddenly just tell them that they no longer have a job as of March the 3rd without giving them a reason. And then you tell them, well, you could apply, you could work, you could still remain a midwife, you could work for Columbia University. Well, that's really an offer that could what did they say in The Godfather? The other way around. This is an offer you'd have to refuse, because you would then give up your union protections, you would give up your pension, you would give up your health benefits. So it's not a very good offer. So some of these nurse midwives now are accepting different positions in the hospital. Fortunately, after a bit of a fight, they're not going to lose salaries. But meanwhile, people who have been providing a service to this community, an important service for a long time, are now losing their jobs. And we're not sure what the future holds for having this service at the Allen Hospital at all. So The resolution calls upon New York Presbyterian Hospital to rescind its plan to eliminate the nurse midwifery positions at the Allen Hospital. And be it further resolved, Community Board 12 Manhattan calls upon the New York State Department of Health to direct the hospital to retain the program with its current staff and expand it concurrently with the planned increase in maternity beds. Well, that's the irony here. The irony is that at the same time that the hospital proposed to eliminate the psych beds, they said one of the reasons they were doing it was to also increase and expand the number of maternity beds at the Allen Hospital. So they're recognizing the fact that we have a great need in this community for maternity beds and for those services. And now they turn around and cut out the nurse midwives who perform an important service. At a time when we're having a maternal health crisis, when there's an inordinately high level of infant and maternal mortality, especially in the Black community. So I urge people to support this resolution. Yeah, I mentioned, yes, these are unionized jobs at the New York State Nurses Association, and we've heard from them in the past. They were at our last meeting.
I'm quite certain that most of the people that are affected by this are women.
Oh, well, no, well, you're wrong. It's not most of them, it's all of them.
Thank you. Thank you. I
And-
didn't want to make a generalization.
No, it's not, no, it's a matter of fact. And not only that, a majority of them are women of color.
All right, I don't see any hands. All right, next up is Nobles with the Cannabis Task Force. Come on down.
All right, we're here. Look at this. Guys. Chair Kathy Diaz over here put the ball in motion November of 2022. Like really, right? 2022. And then you asked me to do this, like December? And I was like, I don't know. I'm about to step off the board. I don't know. I've been on it like 5 years. And she's like, Kathy, and she was like, Nobles, you got to do this. And I was like, yo, I'm in chair. Yo, that's my girl over there. Guys, this is huge, guys. Look, I just want to say a few things. I know I got 10 minutes here. Just a couple of quick things. I want to definitely recognize some people before we get into questions and stuff. But first things first, administrative wise, we do not have a meeting coming up next Monday. We don't have any business in front of the board. There are no companies that need our review. So there won't be a meeting next Monday. So I just want to let that known. It's going to be off the calendar by probably tomorrow at some point. So that's the admin piece. Look, y'all, as I said, this is a big deal for a few reasons. One, as someone said before, the cannabis business is a multi-billion-dollar business. And it would not be small of me to say that a lot of that multi-billion-dollar business started in New York. And it would not be small of me to say, or too big of me to say, that a lot started here in Washington Heights or Northern Manhattan. So that's number one. That's number one. Number two, and you really got to give our state legislators props on this. They took their time to make a very good state law that is repertory in nature and good faith by business. And that's important. Business and community is what's coming together here and what the work that we do as a committee. It's the work that we do as a community board as well. And you're going to be doing tonight as you vote for some of these 3 companies that are trying to open up as the first marijuana companies in Northern Manhattan. But that being said, it took this long to get into this official process because the law is so beautiful and it's still evolving. So as I say, from the very beginning of this journey, you got to be patient with us a little bit. We're learning how to, in real time, build this plan as we're flying it. And I think that so far we've done an excellent job at this. And I think that we're ready for scale of the future. So that's like the second thing. And the third thing, lest I not be remiss, I do need to give some thank yous out. Of course, I've already thanked the chair, Catherine Diaz. Thank you so much. You definitely deserve another. The foresight, you deserve another round of applause. Definitely want to thank the office, Mr. Ebenezer Smith at the helm, Paula Garcia, thank you. And I know I'm missing someone in there too. There's three? I already said Paula, there's three in there. There's just two right now. All right, cool. Well, hats off to y'all. And before I get into going through some of these resos, I would like, if you're here and able, for the committee members that are present to come on up and stand with me, because we were all in the meeting together. We all had a post meeting together too about that meeting before we wrote these resolutions. And so in any questions that I get from the public or from the business owners or from anyone else, I want to make sure that you know that we are up here as a united front in the way that these resolutions were written. And this is like how we want to approach you as a community. So if I could ask Simari to come on up, if I could ask Carmen, Hector Bonilla, and I think Miriam James, are you in the house tonight or are you online? She's online. Well, thank you, Miriam James. We got you. I got your gift. For all the committee members, by the way, I brought gifts from my office. I work for L'Oreal, so after this, come find me. I got gifts for the executive committee too, because y'all were in this too. So definitely come find me. So check it out, y'all. We've got 3 of the first legal cannabis businesses opening up in Northern Manhattan. And let me bring you guys through these resolutions because they are different. The law is again evolving, and right now there are 2 types of businesses that have brought their business in front of the board. All of them got their paperwork in on time. All of them posted the necessary notice and received proof of that. And all of them have also been already approved by the OCM Board of New York. So I do want to be very clear here. Unlike the SLA licensing, shout out to Isidro Mardina too. Big thank you to you, my man. Where is he? I need my new prescription. There you are, my dude. I only saw a head from back there, so I was just guessing. So check it out. Like, it's not like the SLA here. Technically, OCM has already approved these companies, so technically they can open up no matter what. That being said, we do want to, as a community, make sure we have our time to ask the business owners and their representatives of what their plans are for our community. As we said, this is a repertory in nature law, and so we have to make sure that the folks coming in, even the people that are not affected by the war on drugs are from here eventually. There are going to be other corporations coming into our neighborhood. We all want to make sure as a committee that we know what their reasons are for coming here, how they're going to benefit the community first and foremost, and also make sure they are strictened to basically the restrictions that our committee put in place in terms of proximity to schools, places of worship, historical sites, parks, things like that. All of these companies have adhered to all of those, and you can certainly look at our recorded meetings. We've been talking about this application for very long. You can also look at our recordings of the meetings and see how it all went down. And so that being said, tonight we have, sorry? Shit, that was 10 minutes? Oh my God. All right, I'm gonna blow through this piece because you guys can read the resolutions on your own. But we have 2 pieces of business. We have 2 businesses in front of us. We have delivery service and we have 2 dispensaries opening up. For the first one, it'll be Erudito Herbals. It's on 181st Street. It's down there, I believe, across the street from the firehouse. It is delivery service, so it does not have a storefront. They set the precedent, actually, and this is in the resolution, of posting as a business outside. Since you're not supposed to post on furniture, you got to put it on the door of your office. That's now precedent setting, and we're going to be expecting that from other delivery services coming in if you do not have a storefront. But they passed with unanimous decision from the committee, and the owner, Mr. Fernando, I'm not looking at my resolution right now. He has been a part of this. Everyone here has been a part of the community, by the way. Every single business here has been in this community for a very long time, not only putting down the education of marijuana, but also having business in our area. So blanket statement. Second business, Vladimir Batista. We saw a gentleman from the community here today. Give his support there. Also had a lot of support at the committee. Also very active in our community, especially in education of marijuana and the benefits of it. We'll be opening up on Dykeman. If y'all remember the old electronics store, that's going to be his new location. That's the heart of Northern Manhattan. Also passed the committee, flying colors, completely unanimous. Third business here, Sparkboro, located, it will be the old Pickaninny, if you guys know that spot, over on 177th Street. We had all three owners come in. They own a bunch of pharmacies already doing business here in Northern Manhattan. The license holder, Elvin, I'm glad to see you here today. One of the things that we had discussed in the meeting, and this is a prerequisite for any business bringing business in front of our committee, you have to be present during your review if you have the license. All license holders need to be present during our review. And I'm glad to see Elvin here today. And so with that, this also passed the committee. And we have all three here for you to review and approve because we are certainly behind it. So thank you so much to the committee. Thank you so much to the executive committee and to the public for doing this. Let's make some history, y'all. Well done. All right. Are there questions? Okay, let's get it. What's up? Mr. Alman.
Yeah, I'm Richard Allman. I usually speak pretty quietly here. I'm a bit angry tonight about what's happening here.
Okay.
I come here, I'm part of representing a senior center that's next door to this site that is part of a 51-year-old Washington Heights organization. When I saw the resolution tonight, I checked in with our executive director. No history of outreach, nothing been said, no knowledge. We talk about facilities that are nearby that could be impacted. The Esperanza Center, which serves children with disabilities, is also in that location. As we considered a land use resolution before, Domingo Jimenez provided the information that there are a lot of schools close by there as well. Let me finish. What? For all these years I've known you? Okay. So I get to be a little red-faced here too. But apart from that, I'm very supportive of the work of this committee. It's been hard work, good work. The law is a good law. This resolution, though, is a mistake. I did get in touch when I saw it with the executive director of ARC Fort Washington, Dory Garcia. The text that she sent back didn't know about it and don't approve. There's a school next block and senior center services on the same block, as well as Esperanza Center, which serves people with disabilities. I think we need to look at this one further. I want to see the work of this committee go forward. I want these changes in our society, but this one's a mistake. And I would ask people to vote against Resolution E.
Got it. Well, thank you very much, Mr. Allman, for one, the props that you gave the committee, because it has been hard work. And honestly, I do appreciate. Got it. Yep. And I do appreciate your research here, because it did come up in our meeting, especially around the land use conversation that was going on. Since it is a delivery service, there is no storefront. It is on a high, this is the 181st Street location, I believe. It's on, I believe, the second floor. So the third floor, thank you. And there is no access from the street to this location.
What will the permits permit in the future?
You'd have to ask OCM that. Mr. Allman asked, what would the permits permit in the future? I can't answer that question for you, but what I can tell you is you won't even know the delivery service is there from the street. And completely honestly, like I know many senior citizens that use marijuana. I consider this a strong possibility that they could even get it faster there, which would be great for the community. We should take a poll.
I'm just taking a poll. I'm just taking a poll.
But
So I have.
okay, sorry, I know we're out of
Jim,
time.
Joel and Heidi. So then.
Yeah,
we'll
I'm sorry,
close out
Kathy.
for in
Yep.
person.
Thank you. I'm sitting next to Richard and I disagree with him. I agree that because this is a delivery service, it shouldn't affect anything. And the other piece of it is, if you look at me, I've been waiting for this for a long time.
Get it, Jim.
It's about time.
Get it.
I missed it. Okay.
I just want to say, first of all, I support all of this and thank you so much for the work that you all have done to put this together. It's incredible. I just wanted to get a little bit more insight into the discussion about hiring from the community. I saw that the resos have the language about, the business owners give us their word. And I saw something in the minutes about like EEOC. So I just wanted a little bit more color as to what the conversation was about hiring from the community, because that's something that's really important to me. And I think that, we should really push that as much as we can.
Yo, absolutely. I'll let one of my committee members actually handle it. Carmen, you want to take this one? Get it.
Some of the people that were in attendance were pretty much just asking a lot of the owners whether or not they would be hiring from the community, because of course, we want to make sure that we are creating more jobs, right? Not only legalizing marijuana, making sure that it's provided in a way that's safe and accessible to people in the community, but also providing a lot of jobs. And a lot of the business owners that were here, particularly Vladimir and Fernando, had stress, their outreach. Vladimir had communicated that he had been working with the Washington Heights workforce. Did I say that right? The workforce center to just like do outreach on that and hiring from the community. Same with Fernando. I don't know if that really answers your question, but is he allowed to answer? Yeah, there you go. Oh, right.
Thank you.
And lastly, I will also add, we even asked a security company if they would be hiring from the neighborhood and training for security from the neighborhood to also follow the repertory nature of this law.
Yeah, I think something that came up during the meeting was to have a reflection of the demographic of the community. So thank you, Tanisha, for.
Yes, shout out to
jumping on this one
Tanisha.
too.
Yes.
And
Okay,
I
our
also
last
just
hand.
want to
I'm
read.
sorry. Oh, no, I'm saying our last hand. Or you
No,
still
but I
answering?
just wanted to read a
Okay.
comment from Mar Fitzgerald, who's representing Fernando. She just made a comment that Erudito is working with neighborhood CBOs to ensure employment and training opportunities that are offered locally.
Thank you, Mark.
Just want to read that.
There's one last question.
Yeah, it's just a comment. And shout out to Tanisha for mentioning this. It makes 30, I think almost 30 years since the 1991 crime bill, which made cannabis illegal. I know a Schedule I drug. So this is a huge accomplishment. This is Washington Heights, home of the haze. So I just want to, I want to reiterate that this just doesn't affect us, our uncles, our cousins, our brothers were put in jail, right? Because of this, right? It was a Schedule I drug. So this is a momentous moment right now for us to really put a stamp into what Washington Heights is. So I just encourage everyone to vote for this resolution. This is historic, and congrats to the committee.
Thank you. One more? That's it?
No, that's
I
it.
don't wanna-
Get him on.
That's it?
I want to make a comment. No, that we can't. Thank you.
I have a hand raised.
Thank you so much, Chair. Also to my committee members, particularly Leo Jimenez for providing the minutes. So thank you so much, Leo. As you can see in the agenda, we do have 20-something agenda items. I would like to call your attention that as far as agenda item number 3, the committee rejected that particular resolution because there were issues concerning the premises health inspection, and the merchant and all the representative were not there. The committee had a split decision and there was no majority. I would also like to call to your attention that agenda items number 17, number 19, and agenda item number 23, based on the resolutions that you have before you, there are schedules being positive. However, they were requested to bring proof of documentations, such as providing proof of purchase with sound limiter. They have not done that. So on that note, please note that we are returning or turning those resolutions from a positive to a negative. So keep that in mind Again, they are agenda item number 17, 19, and 23. The rest of the applicants that we requested to submit some proof of purchase of sound limiters, they were submitted to the board. At this point, I'm going to ask to see if there are any questions, and I'm going to ask committee members, in case I missed something, to please chime in as well. I'd like to recognize Jim Berlin. Jim, you have the floor.
Testing, there we go. I have two questions. I'm not quite sure what the status is of item number 3. Is that now removed or what?
Agenda item 3 is an opposition, it's a rejection.
Oh,
The
you
committee does
changed it.
not approve.
Okay. And my second thing is in number 9, you talk about, I believe, a corporate change, and I'd like to know the details of that corporate change, which weren't clear to me from what I read.
Agenda item number 9 is a corporate change. That is La Cabaña Salvadoreña. The ownership is being transferred from the wife to the husband. And once there is a 10% charge or change within the shares, it has to be reported to the committee and the board. But this is a complete transfer of ownership to the husband.
Thank you.
I see, also you have a question.
For agenda number 12, what is the new location of the bar?
You said 12, also?
Yes.
For agenda item number 12, that is concerning El Jefe. So I don't know if, for those of you that are not familiar with the area, there is a restaurant, or there was a restaurant there called Tucan. Tucan didn't work out for the owners. So they, El Jefe is now absorbing Tucan and expanding El Jefe to where the former place used to be Tucan. And that's why there is a request to alter a license. Also, you have a follow-up question.
So my question was, they requested to change the location of the bar. But there was no indication where the bar is going to, where is the new location?
Oh, this is concerning República, apologies. Thank you, Leo. So República is going to change, it's going to switch the bar to the SVP area and the SVP area to the bar. There's a flip.
Okay. My next question is about the item number 6. When did they get corporate change? There was an indication that it didn't come to the community board to, item number 6, the question is, when did they get the corporate change? In the minutes, there was an indication that they did not come to the community board to seek a resolution.
So that agenda item number 6 is requesting a renewal, not a corporate change. Within the minutes and all resolutions, we go back and we trace how they came back some time ago, the last time they came. So they came back for corporate change, but now they're coming back for renewal.
Okay, and my last question is in regards to item number 1. Did they provide a proof of sound limiter?
As far as agenda item number 1, there was, just give me 1 second, if you don't mind. We requested 2 steps, a good neighbor sign and a phone number to be displayed. We did not request proof of purchase sound limiter because they have been there for a while, and they already have, based on the resolutions that was passed when that last came to the board. Madam Chair, I see no other questions.
Darryl.
I
mean,
no.
sorry.
James.
It's a very general question. Who follows up to make sure that the signs that we are requesting actually do go up? And how much of an effect they have on noise and double parking and the traffic blockage?
So we rely on you and the many residents that we have in the community. And the committee is requesting every single applicant for specific stipulations. And it will tell us that within a year or year and a half, that every single applicant will have at least 2 steps that are the good neighbor sign and also a phone number. The idea that the committee decided on having those 2 items is that we would like to have issues being resolved with emergency residents, so we not have to escalate to the next level, so that we not interfere with closing down the shop and firing some of the or releasing some of the employees. So we hope that those are 2 steps that can help out the survivability of the businesses, but also keeping in check that residents can be able to sleep. Thank you, Madam Chair.
I'm gonna use my privilege because I was supposed to monitor the Zoom and missed a hand earlier from Jay Baez, who doesn't always speak. So I'm gonna allow for a minute. Jay, if you still want to say something.
Yeah, it was on the cannabis resolutions. I just wanted to remind folks that cannabis is now back to being a legal drug. Alcohol is also a legal drug. And I think one of the things you should consider when you're saying, when you have concerns about kids or families or anything else, is that the whole point of making it legal is that there are regulations and you have to be 21 to even get marijuana legally now. So this shouldn't impact the kids at all. Right now, the concern should be about the illegal cannabis selling from the bodegas and the black market with the dealers.
Thanks, Jay. All right, and off to our newest secretary. Thank you. All right, we're getting there. 10 minutes. 10 minutes to 9. It's 3 hours or less in CB12. We're gonna keep it going. I'm super excited. This is Anthony, our newest secretary on the board. And we'll be taking away the roll call. Go ahead.
Great, thank you. We're gonna start with Zoom. So I'm gonna go down in alphabetical order first with the Zoom participants. Jay, how do you vote? Jay Baez?
Hold on, because I gotta pull them up by order. We're voting on all of them, right?
Yes, we're gonna vote on all of them.
Sorry, let me just pull it up. On resolution A, I'm a yes. B, yes. C, yes. D, abstain. E, F, and G, yes. And yes to the rest on licensing.
Okay, so abstain on D, yes to the rest. Okay,
Yeah.
going on to Tanisha Grant.
Oh, yeah. What am I doing? Voting?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes on all. Thank you.
Thank you. Emily Marte. I will come back to you. Jonathan Nunez Fermetta.
I'm also voting yes as well.
Thank you. Indiana Porta.
Yeah, you missed Tracy. She's
Yes, I'm gonna come back to
Sorry, I
Tracy.
couldn't unmute. Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you.
I vote aye on all. Thank you.
Thank you. And then Tracy, apologies.
Yes to all. Thank you.
Mary else. I don't know if she had fun.
Who else? Marielle's on?
Yeah, she will.
Okay. Marielle, how do you vote?
No to E, yes to the rest.
No to E as an elephant?
Correct. Yes to the rest.
Okay, thank you. All right, and now we're gonna go on to the in-person. Joelle, how do you vote?
Yeah, you're gonna have to repeat it, I think.
Joel votes yes to all. Elvin, how do you vote? Elvin votes yes to all. Richard Allman, how do you vote? Richard votes no on E, yes to the rest. Mary Anderson, how do you vote? Mary votes yes to all. Jacob Banas? Jacob votes yes to all. Radia Barnes? Radia votes yes to all. Wayne Benjamin? Wayne abstains on E and yes to the rest. Jim, how do you vote? Thank you. Jim votes no on 15, 18, and A, and then yes to the rest. Daniel Bonilla, how do you vote? Daniel votes yes to all. Hector Bonilla, how do you vote? Hector votes yes to all. James Bosley? James Bosley votes yes to all. Daryl Cochran?
Abstain on one, yes.
Daryl abstains on one, says yes to the rest. Nobles, how do you vote? Yes to all, thank you. Luis Cruz? Votes yes to all. Robin Cruz? Okay, I need you, apologize, I need you to repeat that. Go ahead.
So. 1, 3, 6, 12, 15, 17, 18.
1, 3, 6, 12,
15.
17, 15, 17, 18.
And yes to the rest? Okay. Robin votes no on 1, 3, 6, 12, 15, 17, and 18. And yes to the rest. Thank you. Chair, how do you vote?
I'm not voting on E, F, and G due to conflict because I work for OCF. And yes to the rest.
Thank you. If you didn't catch that, chair is not voting on E, F, and G due to conflict, working for OCM, and yes to the rest. Domingo, how do you vote? Domingo votes yes to all. Luana, how do you vote? Luana votes yes to all. Heidi, how do you vote? Heidi votes yes to all. C. Marie, how do you vote? C. Marie votes yes to all. Jody, how do you vote? Jody votes yes to all. Leo, how do you vote? Leo abstains on A and votes yes to the rest. Joseph, how do you vote? Oh, okay. Not present at the moment. OC, how do you vote? OC votes no on 2 and 15 and yes to the rest. Alexis, how do you vote? Alexis votes no on number 1 and yes to the rest. Isidro, how do you vote?
Yes to the rest.
Okay, Isidro's not voting on A and E due to conflicts because they are part of his bid and yes to the rest. Hannah, how do you vote? Hannah votes yes to all. Carmen, how do you vote?
Yes to all.
Carmen abstains on F and says yes to the rest. Bruce, how do you vote? Bruce votes yes to all. Steve Simon, how do you vote?
Take on C, and they're not voting on number 6. This is a Parks Department extension, and I'm an official with the Parks Department. I vote yes on the one.
Steve abstains on C and is not voting on 6 as they are a concession for the Parks Department and that is a conflict. Says yes to the rest. Carl, how do you vote? Carl votes yes to all, and I vote no on 1 and yes to the rest. Okay. Okay. Carmen makes a correction, abstaining to G and not F. That's the only correction? Okay. Perfect. Anyone I missed? Oh, Jermina, I'm sorry. How do you vote? Jermina votes yes to all. Where are you? Oh, there you are. That's it.
All right,
Chair.
thank you. So we got everybody. I'm gonna ask, it's 4 minutes to 9. For our chairs, let's focus on what is coming next month to your meetings. So come on down, Joelle for business development. We have Luana for parks and then Domingo for youth and education. Just so be ready.
Can I vote?
Right. Good evening, everyone. Feliz Día de la Independencia Dominicana. Are you missing one?
Simari, hold on, Simari, notice that we got, who's on the Zoom that didn't vote? Sorry. Where was he?
Rallying up, right?
All right, he was under attendees. Eliezer, how do you vote?
Yeah, yes to all, abstain on E, F, and G.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
All right, go ahead, Joe.
Okay. Second part, Noble. Que vivas para siempre la patria. Para siempre la patria. Con libertad y por supuesto con Dios por delante. All right? Okay. That's a shout it out. It's a big day. So quick announcements of my meeting last month, right this month. So starting March 1st, containers for businesses, for commercial businesses, retail locations, commercial retail locations, they're starting this new program in DSNY. We had Marissa from DSNY, the Community Affairs Bureau. She came in and she told us that this program is going to start March 1st, where businesses have to put out their containers. Previous to March 1st, it was just businesses who were chain businesses or that served food. But now all businesses starting March 1st have to have a container outside. Obviously, DSNY doesn't collect. These are private couriers that collect. So we have to make sure that we tell our businesses this because it's important. The reason why it's important is because it's $50 for the first fine, $100 for the second fine, and any subsequent fines are $200. Enforcement doesn't start till April 1st, so make sure we tell our businesses that this is coming to our neighborhood. Secondly, we went over on March, another thing is coming. It's our sidewalk cafes and roadway cafes. Previously, like I've mentioned before, it was an emergency act that allowed this, but now it's open to everyone. So these applications are going to be open on March. So be on the lookout for our next meeting. We're going to go over the application. And lastly, I'll be remiss if I don't mention this, the Latin night market is coming back. Yeah, April 19th. It's going to be every third Friday, starting April all the way to October. Applications to be a vendor are out now. So if you want more information, they range from $100 to $500 for the application. So make sure you contact me and I'll show you the link. But we are doing a seminar with the Inwood Merchant Association to see how more businesses could apply. Because last year when we did it, there was a proof of concept. A lot of people came in. We spoke about the success. It was great, a lot of turnout. But a lot of businesses weren't there because they were hesitant. They didn't know about Latin night market. But now they saw the success of last year. We want them to come apply. Marcos came out to our meeting, which is the head of this, and he told us that he's giving out vouchers and he's excited for the Latin night market in 2024. So huge. Lastly, next month we're gonna have the Legal Aid Society. I forgot his name. Yes, Rolando will be coming in talking about commercial leases. So be on the lookout for that. We also have next month, we have not the Latin night market. There's something else in our agenda. But it's the yes, you can look at the minutes, look at our agenda. But yes, we have oh, Elvin. We are held, yes, I just remembered. So we having Banco Popular come in, talk about our business development, our banking business development district, which is a great project that Banco Popular is doing. So I urge everybody to come out so you could so you can listen to Banco Popular talk about this district. Yeah, so see you guys next month. Any questions?
It's a bigger commitment. Last year we had them for 1 month. I raised last year and I attended. It was a cool. Where do we stand on the 50-50? And part of the concerns of a lot of the merchants were that the fees are too high. While I hear a voucher, I think since the commitment now is longer and the community has to deal with that for a longer period of time, I think it's fair to ask for a reasonable pricing for business as a pilot program to be able to get them to participate in this great event. But also, I feel that like last year, we have to also consider 50-50, being that it's longer term. And I would encourage the staff member of the councilwoman to consider that as well. 50-50. Just reasonable, because last year the only issue I had was while we had one and we could engage in loving and appreciating the event, we also have to look into ways of using opportunities like these strategically to help small business owners in our community.
Absolutely, and I completely agree with you. So just to speak on some of the successes, last year, the revenue of local businesses within that area of Dykeman and the Quisqueya Plaza rose completely. Secondly, he is also limiting not just the blocks that he's gonna have. He's gonna have 2 blocks, that one of them being Quisqueya Plaza. So he's shortening it. He is committing to 29 concessions. What happened last year is that there was a lot of hesitations with applications. A lot of people were like, oh, I don't know about this.
And the fee.
Yeah, and the fee. But the fee was from $100 to $500. And last year, it was an average of $5,000 of revenue that each of the vendors had. All of this to tell you that me and Marco, as well as the councilwoman and her representatives, are pushing that we get 50% of local businesses to be represented. Oh.
And I asked, when you presented the resolution last year, I asked you to bump it up to 70-30. I think we should push for that. 50-50, I don't think it's good enough in my view, but it's better than less than 50-50, but I think we should push for 70-30. 70% of the business should be coming from our district and 30 outside these. And if it's that successful, then there is no reason for them not to say yes.
I understand. Let's get the applications up first. Let's make these businesses apply. Tell your local restaurants to apply. The application link is going to be in our next newsletter, please, Chair. And make sure we get the word out so our restaurants can be represented.
Just a little bit more information. The branch manager from the Dykeman branch is going to be present and also a retail manager, because what they're trying to do is join with the borough president on a qualification to bring in more resources to Popular Bank. They have 3 banks in this district. So whoever's interested, I do encourage you to attend the next meeting next Tuesday.
Yeah, it's next Tuesday. We're going to be putting forward a resolution if all goes well and the committee votes for it for this new district, banking district. So please come out to our next meeting. Any other questions? All right, thank you guys.
All right, I'm going to be super brief, but also happy Dominican Independence Day, happy Black History Month. And in that spirit, I just want to bring two notes of trivia. 1521 was the first slave revolt in Hispaniola on Christmas Day, 1521. And let's not forget 1613 when Juan Rodriguez arrived to Manhattan from Hispaniola. So I just want to put a little bit trivia because I'd be remiss if I didn't do so as a research fellow at the CUNY DSI. So please visit their site. They have the First Blacks of the Americas, a very extensive project about documenting Black life in the Dominican Republic, then Hispaniola. So with that spirit, of course, our resolution with the mansion passed, as you saw during the last board meeting. A lot going on in parks. The Amelia Gorman assessment is currently in place because that is a top priority for us at parks, as well as for our elected officials to get the park finally, the part that is fenced off, to get that cleaned up and opened up again into the public space. So we are advocating for that in parks, but right now we need to make an assessment that reflects the cost for today, rather than a year or two ago. There is a Broadway Mall beautification project happening by 165th on Broadway. And it's going to be a project that will encompass the replanting of native fauna. So we're really excited about that. There was a presentation that I can forward to you if you ask. We're also working with some community members with regards to the Larry Neely Dog Park proposal. That's going to alleviate some of the grounds on the mansion that are being utilized illegally for sort of like an impromptu dog park. So we're working with those constituents as well. And there was a discussion about bringing back the Medieval Festival. So hopefully we are going to bring it back. Well, not we, but parks, but that is an extensive discussion, but those discussions have started at the committee level. And I think that's it. Oh, one more, sorry. We will be rewriting the resolution with regards to 1% for parks. Although we did pass that resolution last year, we feel that a new resolution needs to reflect this year's budget. And we need to continue pressing our elected officials that have verbally committed to these dedicated monies to increase the operations in parks. But apparently that has not happened. So in the executive committee, I brought up the question as to whether or not we should be writing a letter of continued support or the resolution, and we decided rewrite the resolution. Thank you. Yes.
This has to be in the form of a question. So I would like to know, is it okay if we announce to the board that the mayor has announced that money is being allocated to the renovation of Mechanic Square, opposite between the post office and St. Rose of Lima Church on 165th Street, and this is a project that should be underway in the coming FY25 fiscal year. Is it okay if we announce that?
No.
I think it's okay. Thank you, Simon. Steve Simon. Simon says yes. That's it? Okay. Thank you, everybody. Thank you.
I'll keep this brief. Thank you to Wayne for initially I wanted to respond prior to our meeting, but I'm a firm believer in engaging the committee before any correspondence goes out to like any position that the committee takes. Just, you know, people are volunteers, and I feel like it's important to hear them out, and then send out a unified message. Because sometimes we're bombarded with so much stuff, and people actually do come every month and volunteer. So something to think about to other chairs. So we had a great conversation last month on the impact that the ending of the COVID funding is going to have. It was funding that had an end date, and there was recommendations given to cities and states to not necessarily use a lot of these monies to create program that's going to be long-standing. As we know, that was not the case. So a lot of great programming is going to be impacted by the ending of this funding in September. There was a huge expansion on community schools, which basically serves a lot of the needs of communities, the school community directly from the schools. So there's going to be a lot of conversation on that. We will be putting together a resolution to encourage a lot of this to be taken up. No more budget cuts. I feel like immigrants are being scapegoated, and we have to begin questioning mismanagement and really look at what's happening in the city. Besides that, we're going to engage heavily in this conversation on public schools and charter schools, you know, not necessarily from a lens of one is better than the other, but from a lens of equity and understanding that public schools are funded by tax dollars. You know what I'm saying? So anything that taxpayers fund should be looked into, and what impacts those institutions, so it should be looked into as well. Charter schools is a great model in an era where it feels like we have educational institutions that's super prehistoric. So we want to begin to engage in these conversations on education and where could we improve without necessarily picking a side, maintaining an objective conversation and looking at what are some of the flaws of each side and seeing what is truly beneficial to our community. But besides that, I encourage everybody to come in next month. We will be passing a resolution next month on the budget. And yeah, so see you next month.
Good evening, everybody. I'm Jumirna Colber, Assistant Chair for the Public Safety Committee. So I'm going to share with you some of the reports that our local precincts, the 33rd and the 34th, gave to us. And I want to start off by giving a special thanks to Jacob Banas for taking some of our minutes. So for starters, the 33rd precinct reported a 6.9 decrease in crime within the 28-day period. Usually when the precincts come to us, they report on the 28-day period. Some of the themes, trends in crime that the 33rd precinct has been seeing is burglary, specifically theft of packages left by UPS, Amazon, and delivery services of that sort. We asked for recommendations to prevent these kind of thefts, but we didn't really get them. So hopefully next meeting, we get some recommendations on how to prevent theft, since we know situations with landlords and living in things that are not NYCHA is a little bit tricky. For the 34th precinct, there has been a 16% increase within the 28-day period, specifically in grand larceny. So there's been an increase in folks snatching cell phones on mopeds. So that's something that's increasing in our community. So we asked for some tips on that to prevent that, but we didn't really get that either. So hopefully, as community members, we do our part to prevent that. Also, what was other things I have? Car break-ins have increased in our community. So take care of your cars, don't leave your car unsupervised, and things of that sort. So we've been trying to get the fire department because we saw something pertaining to fires in our communities, but we haven't been able to get the FDNY. And for next meeting, one of the things that we want to address in the theme of cannabis is what is the NYPD's role in addressing illegal cannabis shops and smoke shops. So that is one of the things we would like to address in our next meeting. So if anybody wants to join us there, I welcome you all. And yeah, thank you. March. Yeah. Come to our website calendar.
I got a question from us. Oh, sí.
I got you. Sorry to cut you off. This month, I thought about you and I said, has there been any reports on animal abuse, right? They said none, both precincts. So I got you.
Yeah. All right, we got on Zoom, Marielle, second to last. Marielle, do you have a report or any referrals? I know it's that time for you. All right, I'm gonna pass to Daryl in the meantime in case she doesn't mute. March 6th is public safety.
Hey, just quick from bylaws, our next meeting, which is the third Wednesday of next month, we'll be talking about committee meetings and other types of meetings. It's in Article 12 mostly. So if you want to come, please do. Thank you.
I'm gonna just share this because I know it's a time conflict probably right now for her for Housing and Human Services. Keep a lookout on the agenda. Big thing, not just for board members, but also for all members to take a look at is remember, Department of City Planning is putting that RFP for the 10th Avenue site. So when we see videos going viral about the Eliza, right, and the amazing Inwood Library and the amazing makeup of that building, we want to see more of that, right? And so we need the participation of the public, of our members in the crafting of that RFP to select the developer that will do that. So that developer knows the priorities in this neighborhood are a couple things. Okay, I think she's gonna clarify something. But point blank is they're doing tabling sessions all across the district. They're hosting a forum in the district. We're gonna continue that engagement. The Housing and Human Services holds those updates. So make sure you tune in and read. And then the second thing to that we're gonna circulate through board member and remind me for Monday are the City of Yes for housing plan informational sessions. They have several in March, April, and May. It is crash course, real short and sweet about all of the aspects of the City of Yes for, I forgot the title, but for housing plan. The DCP one or? Okay, so.
Hey, Kathy,
Oh, sorry,
come on.
it's HPD, not DCP. I'm getting all the acronyms mixed up. But that's March 27th. So we're just gonna circulate that again. Keep it, there's gonna be a lot coming out of the Housing and Human Services Committee in the next few weeks. So please engage and be present. Oh, I didn't, okay, your hand is up. Thank you, Marielle. Sorry, we were calling.
Yeah, no, all good. Thank you. Thanks everyone. Yes, definitely want to stress what you just mentioned there. And just as an additional update, so on the request for proposals, so again, this is the 4095 site. As Kathy mentioned, there's a couple of tabling opportunities that have already happened. They were at the Uptown People's Assembly. They're at some of the libraries in the neighborhood. There will be a visioning workshop. I'm still trying to confirm the date, and I believe
That's
it's
the March 27th. We got the date.
Is it March 27th? Okay. 'Cause
Yeah,
I thought they had like
Jamila's
moved it a
here.
couple times. Amazing. Thank you, Jamila. So March 27th, please, we need to show up in full force to be there and be engaged. That's the opportunity for us to really be engaging with them. You already mentioned the City of Yes for housing opportunities. That's also going to be, has contained quite a bit of our focus. The other thing that I'd like to mention is also the Rent Guidelines Board. And so that's something as well that the committee will be focusing on in the coming months. And then I think another thing is, which we've noticed more recently, and kind of shout out to members of the committee all leading on these different pieces of work, is really tracking, in particular, ongoing developments. So I know a lot of members have asked, oh, well, I've seen the site up it's, been vacant. I haven't seen anything happening over, the last couple of months, what's going on with that. And so being able to, kind of provide updates to all of you in the community at large in terms of what's happening. So stay tuned. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Mariel. So that wraps up our committee and task force reports. Is there any old business? Oh, you skipped all the way. All right, so thank you. That concludes our February meeting. See you probably next month, next same space, hopefully with more mics, on time with projector. Have a good evening, everyone. Thanks on Zoom for hanging out.
Thank you.